What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. It's me, that bald, that beard, that beautiful man himself, Piers Austin, and we are brought to you by the MWA Podcast Network and powered by the Realm Network, where you can get an exclusive first look at all four core shows of the MWA Podcast Network. That's Shooting the Shit Uncensored. That's Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin Angel motherfucking Medina with King Mega and Glenn Sexton. And also Get Funked with former WCW and TNA star Alan Kwee Wee Funk. And then there's also Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. So make sure you get an exclusive first look at all of those shows by going to therealmnetwork.com and checking it out, baby. But guys, let me just take a quick second to thank a few sponsors. Now, first up is the WrestlingUniverse.com, guys. Now, the Wrestling Universe is your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling kind of merchandise needs. They have all kinds of action figures from WWE, TNA, UFC, WCW, ECW, TNA, all the past ones, the present ones. They carry t-shirts, wrestling cards, autographed 8x10s, belts, and masks, and much, much more. Guys, they also have in-store signings with some of the biggest names in the wrestling world. So if you're in the Queens, New York area, go and check them out. Also, all of their items come with a certificate of authenticity. And guys, if you're like me, you live in another place, another country, another part of the world, they also ship internationally. So the Wrestling Universe has got you covered any day of the week. Next up, guys, is Sleeves.com. Now, if you or somebody you know is an athlete, you need to go check out Sleeves.com. They have armbands, knee bands, compression pants, compression tights, headgears, mouth guards, you name it, they got it. Use promo code MWA pod to get a 10% discount at checkout. And guys, once you've done there, you need to head over to healthvape.com, because healthvape.com have got you covered for all your healthy vaping alternatives. All of their products are no nicotine, no harmful or addictive chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. Guys, if you want to get off the cigarettes, get off the other vape thing, you need to get on Health Vape, and they will have you covered with a 10% discount on us if you use promo code MWA pod at checkout. Guys, a lot of exciting things happening this week with MWA. We've got a new show about to debut. It's currently Wednesday night, and it's going to debut at 10:30. Me and Glenn Sexton with the NXT Roundup. Make sure you tune in for that. We got our sports show coming as well, which is going to be free to air. And we're also going to have the Funkin' Kingpin show, guys. That's it. Alan, the Kwee Wee Funk, and King Pin Angel himself are teaming up to do a podcast, which is going to be free to air every single week, live on YouTube and on Twitch here at MWA Podcast Network. And guys, if you want to get an exclusive first look at our first four core shows, head over to therealmnetwork.com, guys. You've got Shooting the Shit, you've got Killing the Business, you've got Get Funked, you've got Knights of the Gimmick Table. Guys, you have an amazing lineup. Head over there and check out therealmnetwork.com. But guys, tonight, my guest, Mr. DjaySonic, a guy I am really excited to have on, guys. I'm not going to lie. I've been wanting to have this guy on for a while, and a mutual friend of ours hit me up and said, "Hey, man, why haven't you had DJ on yet?" And I'm like, "I don't know, dude. Like, you know what? Let's make this happen." And now I get to have him on. I'm really excited. But he's a Sydney-based pro wrestler. He's an independent Australian pro wrestler. He is DjaySonic. DJ,
Hey,
thanks for coming on, brother.
What's cracking, man? Thanks for having me. How you going?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. As I said, bro, I've been wanting to have you on for a while, man. And it's just been like, you know, crazy, like newborn babies and stuff like that. It's sort of been like, you know what I mean? Every time I'm going, hey, I'll reach out. I'm like, oh shit, this is sort of going on. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, man,
I feel it. Yeah, I've just got now a 3-week-old little girl, so I understand what you're talking about in terms of being what's the best word to say? Your head's everywhere, pretty much. Just as a starter.
Is this your second or your first? Or
that's my first bub. My first bub.
Oh wow, man!
Yeah.
Me and the wife just had number three about
Oh,
3 months ago. So
congratulations,
yeah,
man. That's
yeah,
awesome.
same to you, man. Like,
Yeah.
the newborn stage, man. Like, no one really understands it. They're just like, oh yeah, your baby just sleeps all the time. Just bring it wherever you like. Obviously now you can't, right? But like
Yeah, of course.
everyone's like,
Uh,
oh yeah, you just bring it.
yeah, I totally agree, man. She's all she does is sleep at the moment. She just sleeps, shits, and fucking eats. Three things.
Bro, you're lucky, man. Like, none of my kids at that age, bro, like slept. Like, I think like they took like 6, 7 months, and me and my wife like walking on eggshells around each other.
Yeah, that's harsh, man. That's harsh. I don't know. I look for me. Thank God, man. My little one, from what I've been told, is very good. Generally, all they do is cry. Most of the kids and whatnot. But for me, luckily, my little one, her name is Riley. She's just been absolutely amazing, man. I've found a new love, but it's been absolutely amazing with her.
Oh man, it's like that, man. Like, whenever like you have like kids are one thing, everyone says it to you before you have kids. You're like, all right, yeah, cool. But then when you actually become a parent, it's like, fuck,
Well,
like,
I mean, coming from I mean, I guess some little back knowledge about me. I was a music teacher for many years, so I think I've always had a love for kids, and I've always played with kids. So having my own child now is like it's just another thing that's just mind blowing at the moment. So the best, I guess, two words I would say is unconditional love that I have
yeah.
for her. It's nuts, man. Absolutely nuts.
Oh, how do you find, like, when your wife or your partner was going through like
Yeah.
the pregnancy side of things, like, and you were out there wrestling? Did you have a different approach to your wrestling, like when you were going out there, like knowing that you were going to be having a baby?
Well, first off, I have the most supportive wife. She literally is all about do what you love, follow your dreams, do what you got to do. So from that aspect of things, I'm super blessed. Um, the lead up to the pregnancy, I think I took the month off beforehand, or I wrestled the.
Mhm.
Sorry, I wrestled the month before Bubba was due. Just so that God forbid nothing. If something did happen, nothing
Mm,
happened. So thankfully
yeah,
nothing happened. Nothing went wrong. In terms of injuries, just I wanted to play it safe.
sure.
Um, but the I guess the whole way through the pregnancy, it was pretty tough for my wife. Of course,
Yeah.
we don't know what it's like to have a baby inside of us for 9 months. But everything was crazy, man. But she was super supportive of everything. She even comes to the shows with me. She sells my merch, so she did
Oh
that
wow.
till the previous month, which is amazing. It's great for
Yeah.
me.
But as far as like having her come to shows and stuff and selling merch, like, does she sort of like get a bit nerve wracked, like seeing you wrestle, or is she like, nah, she's
She
like all in, going like, go son,
she
go.
She does. She gets really nervous, man. Like she comes to pretty much every single show that I'm on. We had an incident once where she didn't come to one show,
Yeah.
and unfortunately on that show I hurt myself. So
Oh shit.
I butt my head, back of my head, doing a suicide dive. Just I wasn't caught properly, unfortunately, and I guess I didn't get out enough.
Mm.
So from my momentum, basically, as I flew over the top rope, my body went back to the ring, and basically
Ooh.
the support beams, there's like a T support beam. I ended
Yeah,
up
yeah.
hitting the back of the lower base of it.
Shit.
Didn't feel like I didn't feel much. So as I landed, I'm like, oh, shit, like there's a little bit of a bump. Um, One of the guys that ran around, the commissioner, usually came around to tell me, like, man, like, don't freak out, but you're in a pool of blood. So it's like, yeah.
No
So that
shit.
was the only show she didn't come to, and she got a phone call from me. She knew straight away something was wrong because I don't usually call her until around midnight till we're packed down and stuff. She knew something was wrong, so I had to get rushed to the hospital, and I got 5 stitches at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Jeez. And like,
Yes,
was she like a crying wreck, like
freaking.
freaking the fuck
She was
out? Yeah.
freaking. She was freaking out. I think someone had to drive her because that's how anxious she was, and she was just
Yeah.
not herself. So,
I mean,
but
but how many years have you been in the business at this stage when this had happened?
I think I debuted in 2016. I debuted, so I trained from 2014, debuted 2016. I believe it was. I was on tour. I was touring around Australia. I was drumming, It was before that. I think it was 2016. Pretty sure it was 2016. I think it was the first year of. No, it was the second year actually. Sorry, second year of wrestling.
Yeah, right.
Second year.
And was that like the first big sort of thing that would have happened to you at that stage, like that far into your career?
That was my second injury. Thankfully, I've only had 2 injuries, right? The first one, I was training, and obviously during training, you just want to get, your shit practiced.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to do it. Yeah. I mean, for me, for any new wrestler, when you first start wrestling, it's all about the high flying or the cool moves, all the cool stunts, all that shit. So I was trying to learn how to do that myself. Unfortunately, I did like a mid-air corkscrew insecurity, and it still landed on my back. I ended up landing flat on my shoulder, and I popped my collarbone. So I drove myself to the hospital with one arm.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so that was quite painful. I was out for at least, I think it was like 6 to 8 months from memory.
No one was going to call an ambulance for you? Or you didn't want to pay the $300 or $400 it cost for an ambulance?
I don't remember, man. All I remember was just getting up and telling my trainer that something's up. I need to go. So I guess with the adrenaline, it wasn't that painful. I drove to the medical center.
Yeah, right. And what they do, they put it, was it dislocated? Like they just put it back into place?
No, so it was a complete breakage in my collarbone. What happened was my collarbone lifted up and it went back. So there's I don't know if you can see in the video, but you could probably see that my shoulders aren't equal. There's like a drop in my right shoulder. Mm-hmm. That's from that. So it's a bit messed up from that, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. Jeez. So, getting the phone call and then at 4 a.m., getting out of hospital, was she like, dude?
She was with me the whole time. So I was very lucky.
Was she trying to talk you out of like wrestling at that stage? Was she like, oh, maybe you should sort of pull back a bit?
Look, from day one, my mum has always said to me, she fucking hates it. She doesn't want me doing it. She's scared shitless for me. So every time I wrestle, and I'm until now, like still, my poor mother is scared shitless. She messages me, "Are you okay? Are you done? Are you hurt?" I'm like, "Mum, I'm all good. Relax. I'm safe. Thank God. Everything's good. My wife's with me. Blah blah blah. It's all good." She's like, "Okay, cool." But she gets a bit, scared as a mother, as a parent, as we would both know. But it is what it is, man. It's the risk that we take, as you would have heard 1,000 times.
100%. It's you're not in there sort of bouncing around on pillows, and that's one of the thing, and that's the thing where like there's some people and fans that don't really respect the business, where they call it the F word or something like that, or they don't appreciate what's happening in front of them. And professional wrestling is an art form in a certain way, I believe.
Definitely agree, man. It's very hands-on. It's very freaking theatrical. It's very thought about. That's probably the best kind of thing to explain it, to describe it. It's very thought about. At the end of the day, it's entertainment. You know what I mean? So we do what we can do for everyone that's coming to watch the show, and just, I guess, communicate and liaise with us and just have that interaction that we all want to have. And that's kind of what feeds my energy as well. Even not just from a wrestling point of view, but as a musician, because I'm a musician as myself. So being out there playing is like you feed off people's energy. So I guess it's the same aspect with wrestling.
Oh, 100%. What instrument you play, dude?
God, I play 3 instruments. I play.
Look at you.
Primarily, I play drums. I'm a drummer. I've been drumming since 2004. But I also play guitar and piano as well. I was a music teacher for 7 years, so I taught those 3 instruments as well.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
So how do you find the time to be like that creative, like to do because I know like I've got a bit of a music background as well, right? So like for me, like I always still like to sit down, either write lyrics or work out a melody or something like that. like I find it fun, but like finding time to sit there and do that as a parent and like doing a podcast and gym normally and all the other shit. There is not enough time in the day to do it. But like, how do you find the time to still be able to get that creativeness out musically as well?
Look, I obviously we haven't spoken about this yet, but I do so many things during the week and on the weekend. But one of the biggest things I've been doing for God knows how long, but professionally for since 2008. How long? How many years? I don't even know how many years that is. 13 years.
Yeah. There you go.
I've been gigging and playing at shows and as a musician. So I've been doing I mainly do like weddings and birthdays and all that stuff. So I guess the DjaySonic world is the Jason Isaac world as well. So it's kind of the same thing. So of a weekend, it's so hard with wrestling. But I'm very respectful in the sense that, if a promoter or someone I book was contacting me to do a show to wrestle on, and I take that on, then I won't accept a gig. Just because it's, I've given you my word. That's pretty much how I am.
Yeah.
If it's like something that's gonna, really impact a promoter or a company, and they've really asked me to, to cancel a gig or to come and do the show, then depending on what that is and depending on what I'm getting paid from my gig, then I might go do that. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard one, man. But in terms of fitting my music stuff in, it is difficult. A long day at work. Generally, if I've had a long one and I just need to, crash a bit, I pretty much just jump onto at the piano or something like that and just jam, do some covers and just play and learn some songs. That's kind of how I unwind.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool way to sort of kick back and relax, though, man. Just like sit at the piano and just like break out, like, you know what I mean? You like just go in and start playing in the piano, man, and stuff like that. That's pretty cool, man.
It's what calms me down, man. Pretty much music and wrestling are the two things in my life that have been my outlet.
Yeah.
So the two things that I go to straight away.
What
has been
like
a long time.
As far as the wrestling side of things go, like, what drew you into it? Like, what was because I think a lot of like for me, for example, a lot of it was the showmanship when I was younger, but like, what was it for you that really drew you into the pro wrestling scene or world?
Well, before, my grandfather was a big wrestling fan, as well as my dad and all that. So, seeing the shows like on TV and realizing what was going on is kind of what started it for me. But then as I got a bit older, I started to watch more and more. But it wasn't until high school where things went a bit south. Like I got bullied a lot at school. So that was kind of my outlet, which kind of kept getting fed to me, and I kept watching more stuff. So I started seeing, guys like Jeff Hardy, who's pretty much my idol. He's the one that I guess made me appreciate what I was seeing. So just like the high flying ability, all that kind of stuff, and his cool movements and colors and all everything. That's what kind of sparked my love for wrestling. And then it wasn't until 2014 or 2013 when I just Googled Wrestling School Sydney. I had another turnaround in my life, and that's kind of where stuff started for me.
And like, which school did you head to in Sydney?
What school?
Yeah. Where did you start?
I went to Trinity Catholic College in Auburn.
No. Which training school did you go to?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No.
Sorry. I went to AWF. Sorry, I have to think about that. Please.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So I went to the School of Pro Wrestling there. Did I think 2 years worth of training with TNT. Debuted with him, and then everything started from there, man.
Yeah, right. And do you still like train somewhere today, like wrestling? Do you still train with TNT, or do you train somewhere else now?
Unfortunately, not. I have a really crazy schedule. I work from 9 a.m. till 7:30 p.m.
Ooh.
They're long ass days for me. So back when I used to train, I used to train at PWA for probably about, I think, 3 to 6 months roughly. I can't remember how long ago it was. The schedule I had, because I started coaching fitness and being PT, so the gym hours and the fitness hours in the industry is crazy, man.
Oh, absolutely.
That took over my life during the weekday, and then as I mentioned, the weekends consisted of wrestling and music for me, and teaching. So it was chaotic. I was working like 3 to 4 jobs in the week.
Ooh, wow. Yeah. So it's hard to get to training when you got so much on you.
Yeah. I know. I was like super eager on it too, man. Like, in my opinion, PWA is probably one of the best in New South Wales, if not Australia. So that's kind of where things got spicy for me. It was fun.
Yeah. And do you feel like you could eventually head back there to train, or is that somewhere that you want to go back and train?
Look, man, it really comes down to where I'm at with everything. I'm a never say never kind of guy. It'd be great to. Yeah, absolutely. To answer your question, yeah, it would be. It's just finding that time, man. Like, a lot of those guys that train there, like, that's pretty much their life. That's what they do.
Yeah.
For me, it's, how's the best way to put it? It's not all I do. So I've got like my, with my music, with my fitness, everything. So it's not just my one thing that I do in my life, unfortunately. It'd be great if it was, but can't split myself everywhere at once, unfortunately.
Oh, absolutely, man. And that's the thing. I think some fans may not understand. It's like when they see performers, they're like, why aren't you in here, or why aren't you doing this? It's like, I enjoy working here and doing this, and because it fits in the life of my schedule outside of wrestling. And it's
absolutely, man. And a lot of guys do ask me, like, why aren't you wrestling here? Or even like if I put stuff on social media, like, where do you want to see DjaySonic wrestle next? And then get the tags and get the people mentioning wherever they want me to wrestle. And it's like, it's a bit hard. Yeah. So
I mean, like, but there's always those, there's always chances down the line to go down that road if you have that opportunity to do it, I'm sure. And I think it just, it comes down to obviously scheduling and, being a parent, and especially one of a newborn as well. There's a lot of attention that craves, man. And especially when you're working long hours, dude, as well. So
that takes a toll, to be honest. That's the most exhausting part of it, just my weekday job.
Yeah, man, I bet. But so when you were training for 2 years under TNT, like when you first went in there, like what was your overall what was your overall perception when you walked in there? Like, were you going like, this is gonna be the greatest thing in the world? I'm gonna like pick things up so quickly, and like, how was your transition from essentially being a fan to then being someone who's being trained in the business?
Man, honestly, it was the most overwhelming experience for me. It's like, the best way to explain it is, you've been watching something for over 10, 15 years, and you're going to see shows, and basically you're behind those barricades. The second you walk into, I guess, a classroom or a gymnasium or whatever you want to call it, or a hall where I was training, with a ring set up and everything, it's like, what the fuck? Well, am I actually here? Like, is this reality right now? So it was very overwhelming for me. I guess the best word to put was probably marking out a bit, to be honest, man. Like, I was over the moon. Like, oh my God, I'm actually going to do this. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, but I think that's just being a young guy and being excited and enthusiastic. Like, it's, you know what I mean? I think everyone has that mark moment, probably, the first day they walk into the gym to train, and then like the next day,
day you feel your body and you're like, oh wow, this is what wrestling is it? I can't feel my neck, can't feel my back.
But what was it that how hard did they work you on that first day?
To be honest, the first day, there was no in-ring training or in-ring lessons. It was basically sit down, shut up, open your ears, and soak up what I'm talking about. So the first day we basically went over a lot of the rules in wrestling in terms of what's that word? Basically,
Carney talk.
yeah, it's more about the do's and don'ts. Like,
Yeah,
for
right.
example, the first thing when you walk into a locker room or you walk into a new promotion, first thing you do is you shake everyone's hand and go and greet everyone. Like the mannerisms.
Yeah,
We went over like a lot of the definitions of words in the wrestling scene. So a lot of theory-based stuff on the first day.
yeah. But at that point, did you feel like you walked in there and go, "I know what a mark is. I know what a jobber is. I know what." Did you?
No, actually, I didn't. I didn't know much about it, to be honest with you. I was just your typical fan, just watching wrestling. I didn't know much about it. In terms of what I know now as a wrestler, you know what I mean? So the behind the scenes.
Your mind would have been blown learning all this shit,
Absolutely.
right? Like
so
this is like a kid finding out there's no Santa Claus almost.
Literally. I've even still got my stuff, you know. We got like a thick freaking staple of papers with everything that, you know, that's good to know as a starter, as a beginner. So that's something that, like, you know, that's something that I will cherish forever. It's my first experience as in the wrestling world, I guess you can say.
Oh, dude, 100%. And like, you know, as far as like, you know, going and getting that knowledge, like, do you find that, like, you know, that sort of stuff, do you think it was needed on the first day to be instilled, or do you think that sort of something could have come a little bit later and you know what I mean? Like, what were you expecting walking in on the first day compared to that?
I guess anyone that's training is probably want to jump straight into the ring. That's probably the best, most transparent answer to give you. Excuse me. But I think I really appreciated having that theory beforehand, because I think going in ring first, everything else would have went straight over my head. So having the ability to sit down with, I guess, all my teammates and everyone that's training as well. Like I started with, you know, Jax Jordan, Silvio. Who else was there? Can't remember at the moment. But I remember sitting down with those guys, and we're learning, and we just loved wrestling. That's all we wanted to do. So it's pretty awesome.
And you know, with the training itself, how did you find getting in there, and you know, the physicality of it? Like, how was that for you?
It was painful. Honestly, it was very painful. Some, you know, just bumping your head, like you're not tucking your chin when you bump, it's gonna fuck you up straight away. Like you're gonna feel that in your neck. I remember copying a mad headache the first couple of days. I had the worst back pain. My neck was just stiff, and I remember taking Panadol. I take Panadol. That's how sore I was. I was like, shit, this is fucking serious. It's awesome. But it made me, I just wanted more of it. It was like, it's so addictive. It was really weird.
So there was no point where you were like, this is too much. This is like, this sucks.
Probably on the third day, I reckon. The third day is probably the worst. And like coming from like the fitness world, like when you train and you get sore muscles, it's usually the second to third day where it's the most painful. So I think that's what I was experiencing. But it was pretty awesome. I think at the time my grandmother passed away, so it was kind of my outlet once again to deal with, to not deal with the death. So it was awesome just to have my mind straight into this wrestling world. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I can imagine, bro. It's it would have been a great distraction for you, especially when you're going through like a loss like that, man. And you know, you know, that physicality as well sometimes just can get that emotion out as well. So it's always really needed, you know, at times. I think, you know, it's such a good way for people to burn off that energy, or to have that, you know, if you're feeling down or something like that, go for a run, do something fitness, like get the mind thinking of something else, get out, get in the fresh air, run, do, you know, move. You know, you feel better. And I think that's like, you know what I mean? Like everything will be there afterwards, but at least you can have that moment of just relaxation and sort of take your mind off something, you know?
You hit the nail on the head, man. It's very true.
But like, as far as like starting to do shows, did you take 2 years before you started to get on shows, or were you still training? Like, when
Uh,
did you actually start getting your start?
I trained for a solid 2 years. So every time that TNT ran his dream camps or in his courses, they were generally on the school holidays. So I took advantage of that. So there was a solid 2 years worth of training. It wasn't every day like everyone else does, but it was like pretty much 2 weeks worth of the school holidays or 1 week worth of the school holidays 4 times a year. And then 2016 came and TNT just asked, it basically said to me, like, if you're ready, like, I feel like you're ready. I'm like, yeah, I'm eager to go and get this done, man.
So that was after 2 years of training, and then he
Yeah.
said, like, yeah,
Yep.
but like, so you weren't training like every week, like for like a 3 week, like it was like
Correct.
a week here and a week there, and oh,
Uh,
really?
it, it was pretty much like every 10 weeks, there was 1 or 2 weeks worth of training. Because every school holidays, a term is like 10, not
Yeah,
8
yeah.
to 20 roughly per term. So every school holidays, I was training. The end of year training was probably a couple of weeks worth of training.
Yeah.
So we'd go set up. I think it was at Blacktown Hall,
Yeah.
the community hall there. And we got our shit done there. It's pretty cool. And we'd have show
Like,
day as well. So
yeah, right. But how did you put all things together? Like, if you were only getting a week training every 10 weeks, like that would have been like,
yeah,
yeah, I
look,
mean, did we have people around you that you were able to sort of go and practice with and go over it with?
yeah, like I trained a lot with obviously the young guys from my class, but I had people like at the time like Dean Draven, I had Alex Tyden, Apollo, who was my first opponent, he's the most fucking amazing guy. And yeah, I just followed his lead in my first match. It was pretty cool. But I had guys like that were really good to be around. Everyone was, had their different technique of how they would do things and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I was always at TNT because he was my trainer, and that's all I knew, at the
Yeah.
time. And still do. Like now, if I have questions like for TNT or Greg, as people know him, I will reach out to him and speak to him about things. So.
Yeah. But it seems like you had like some good people around you as well that were helping you along the way as well.
Absolutely, man. Like I'm very much about like being around positive people and people that have good energy all the time. So there's nothing worse than being around like toxic people that's gonna just drag you down and just kill your mood.
Oh,
But
100%. Or drain your, like, yeah.
Thankfully, I wasn't around that. So it was really good.
Oh, 100%, dude. And, as far as like, the first match you mentioned against Apollo, who's, pretty well known in New South Wales, and a mainstay at IWA for a very long time. Where was the first match with AWF? Like, where set the tone? Tell us what the go was.
So basically, I debuted 2016. I wrestled for AWF for 1 year. I'm still wrestling to date. But I was pretty much there for a full year on my own until I branched out just to other people and to other companies just to, get a better education and just learn better. But yeah, Apollo was my first match. I was nervous as fuck. And I had so many people coming to watch me. I've been through a bit of I used to be a little overweight when I was a kid. That was the reason for my bullying and stuff like that. So I never had the opportunity to do sports at school. So this was kind of like my first football game or, my first match of any type of sport because I never had that as a kid. So I guess I started to build that confidence, and looking back now, I was still a bit big. So there was still a bit of confidence issues, but I was very thankful for Apollo because he kind of pretty much leveled my energy because it was like right up there with the nerves. And to top it off again, as I mentioned, I had a lot of people that coming to watch me. So a lot of my family were there. So it was like, shit, I've been doing this for 2 years. You want to put on a show. but
100%.
he helped me so well, man. He put me under his wing literally, so it was great.
Yeah, like what was it that he did? He just sort of walked you through through the match. Like, was the
Yeah,
match
yeah,
called in the
yeah,
ring?
yeah. So obviously, like being still fresh, like I was still overthinking a lot of stuff. I still do today. Till today, I still overthink some stuff. But um, he would basically say to me, "It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be doing this. You're gonna be doing that. You're fine. Let's go over the match again." So we kind of went over the match a lot of times because I was shitting myself. I just don't want to forget anything. There's nothing worse than, you're not watching a movie, so it's not something they can
Yeah.
kind of pay or cut. Stop. So it's all live. So I just don't want to mess anything up. Thankfully, I didn't. So it was good. We spoke a bit in the ring.
Yeah, nice. And as far as the match, like going back at it, like were you happy with the match? Were you like, what were you thinking after the match?
I was over the moon.
Yeah.
It was like I just ran through a freaking ring of fire. Looking back at it now, it was just a kid that just wanted to get his shit in,
Yeah.
and just to flip and get a pop from the crowd. But yeah, man, it was just another feeling. I don't think I've ever been around that kind of crowd before as well. Like I was going to PWA shows, I was going to IWA shows, I went to the AWF shows, so and like every other promotion that's in Sydney, but hearing it for myself was another feeling on its own, if that makes sense.
Hearing that pop was like,
like crazy.
But you mentioned like you wanted to get all your shit in, but I can imagine Apollo would have been the sort of guy to go, "Hey man, this is how it's gonna be." You know what I mean? Like you'll get it in, but get it in at the right time.
He actually wasn't. He was like, "Okay, so what do you want to do?" And this is how I am now. It's like, all right, if I say like, "Man, what do you want to do? What do you want to get in?" That's pretty much the same thing what I say first. When I'm planning a match, it's like, all right, man, what do you want to do what do you want to do first? What do you want to get in? To make sure you're getting your character over. But he did it in a way that's like was very calm for me. And I didn't realize it at the time, but obviously I do now. So basically I was letting know like the moves that I could do. And then he basically meshed that all together and worked it out, and we worked it out together at the end of it. But it was very helpful with that.
Yeah, wow, man. That's like it sounds like to put it all together is like you go from okay, what ideas do you have? Okay, I want to get this and this and this in. Okay, no worries, where but I want to get this and this in. And then it's just sort of constructing around those parts, really. And then I suppose it's like that's when you have to look at it and go, right, well, we've constructed here, we've gotten here to get this spot. Now we've gotten to this spot. Okay, this spot doesn't really make a lot of sense here.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, is it more along that sort of lines of doing things?
Yeah, pretty much at the time. Yeah, because obviously I still classify myself as green. Like even though I've been wrestling since 2016, like I still call myself green. You know what I mean? But I was like very freshly green. It was my first match. At the end of the day, he just freaking sold it on, and he was the captain of the match. So he said what needs to be done. And obviously, like I'm going to listen because, well, how would I know better than him? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like you have that sort of take on it, man. Absolutely. So, but as far as like the DjaySonic persona, how much of that is like Jason? I mean, like what are the differences between the two?
Look, there's really no difference. The character that you see me as DjaySonic is pretty much the same guy that's Jason Isaac. I am a real DJ. Like it's not like something like it's not a a fake character. Like it's legit. I'm a legit DJ. I've been doing that for over 7 years as well. So it is still my character. It's inspired by my music and the passion for music that I have. So DjaySonic is Jason Isaac. It's pretty much the best way to say it.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Like, do you prefer to I think I was at one show that you were at probably a few months back. And definitely Babyface. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I was baby
Yeah,
face.
baby face pop. So like, do you prefer to like, go the baby face route, or do you prefer to work heel?
Absolutely baby face, man. Like I'm pretty much. I think I'm naturally a baby face. I've never worked a heel. I don't know if I'd be confident in doing it, but when a push comes to shove, if it needs to be done, it needs to be done. But the DjaySonic, wrestler isn't really a heel.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm more have the comfort in as a baby face. And to be honest, working heel is so much easier than a baby face.
yeah.
So I just hope, that
Well, as
I
a
don't,
baby face, it must be hard, like depending on the crowd as well. Like,
oh,
especially because like it depends on like where you're wrestling and stuff like that, and also the crowd that you're wrestling in front of. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, like some crowds can be really, brutal, and other crowds can be really good and give you heaps. But like, what's one of the hardest things to get from a crowd that is like just a flat crowd? Like, how do you draw that energy from them?
Well, look, I think like basically when I'm watching any show that I'm on, I kind of listen out to the crowd already. So you can determine whether the crowd's going to be um, loud or not, pretty much. So
Yeah.
basically, what I do, I don't know if you've ever seen my entrance videos. Basically, I come out with like an LED mask
Yeah,
and
I
my
have seen it.
stuff. So I kind of come out with high energy, high fiving everyone and running around the ring or whatnot. So
Yeah.
I try to set that energy and that benchmark as best as I can. And from there, like I'll communicate with the audience and like if example the heel's coming out, like I kind of feed to see how they're reacting. So if they're reacting, then I kind of milk that. I go with the crowd to say like I'm on your side kind of thing. But generally, I don't have to do that. I generally everyone knows when I come out like there's a baby face pretty much. But if the typical hold, if your wrestler's in a hold and trying to get the crowd behind you, they're gonna clap and freaking cheer or whatever. I try to create body language in order for them to see that I kind of need their help.
Yeah.
But you get your guys that come to every show, which is awesome, so they kind of know the gist of what's happening.
Yeah.
So they're kind of the guys that I rely on. So when I'm in there and I'm trying to feed up and get that energy behind me, and then they start clapping and stuff like that, I was like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah, it's working. But generally, I don't think I've ever had anything that major, like bad at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like, the Australian scene, like a lot of the fans are really respectful and stuff, But have you ever had any type of fans try and cross that line with you, and like a fan try and take a swing at all, or get
No,
involved in the ring or jump in the ring?
no, man. I've only ever had really amazing experiences, man. That's during a match, after the show. Like,
Yeah,
it's awesome. I think I'm very lucky that like people come up to me at the end of shows to take photos and stuff like that and buy merch. So I think that I kind of start with that kind of magnetic energy pretty
yeah,
much, that casts people in to say, okay, cool, okay, he's a cool guy or he's a cool character or whatever. So
yeah.
I'm always trying to get over with the fans pretty much, which I generally does work naturally, which is great. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I've never had an issue, thank God.
No, that's good. I mean, I think that in this day and age as well, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of wrestling fans at the shows
Yeah,
here in Australia. Everyone's pretty cool and respectful. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like the people and the trolls and that sort of stuff, they sort of wean themselves out eventually.
yeah. They're mostly like online keyboard warriors, but thankfully, I don't think I've ever had anything that major. I've probably had a couple, one or two. I think it was actually at the Super Show. What was it? It was like that the infamous AWF show that had like Ryback and all the internationals come.
Yeah,
Um, I think it was an online comment that came through, but man, like I don't know if you've seen my Instagram, so I've got a bit of a following just from my music career and my
yeah,
wrestling and
yeah,
all that stuff. So um, I've kind of learned to filter that shit out.
yeah,
If
100%.
it's something serious, then I'll address it.
Mm.
But generally speaking, I don't really get involved.
Yeah, man. I think is like if you start sort of looking at the negativity that people will put through, like especially when
Yeah,
you're doing something well, and it's like the jealousy or of some shit like that, you just got to
yeah.
block it out because otherwise it'll just do your fucking head in.
That's you actually said the words I was about to say. Like jealousy was a major thing, and you know, um, it was it was quite hard to deal with that at one stage when I was growing up, because that's kind of the bullying um, scene that I was dealing with. So it was kind of hard for me to adjust to remembering, what I've learned in terms of dealing with that kind of shit. So it's
Yeah.
pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, like I don't think if I've had anything like from people, it'd probably be workers. Um, jealousy does come here and there, but I mean, DjaySonic is just wrestling in your fucking at your RSL club or your community hall. Like this, I'm not affecting anyone, man. I stay in my lane. It's pretty much how I work. I
Yeah.
just do my own thing.
But I
So,
suppose as well, like you wrestle because you love to wrestle. Like
absolutely, man.
if it got to a point where like that shit got to you, then it's like, fuck, man, this shit is no longer fun. Like it's
Yeah,
time, like it's time to bounce the
so
fuck
true.
out because it's like,
Yeah,
in Australia, like the guys and girls and people in wrestling aren't getting paid big bucks to wrestle like over in you know what I mean? Like everyone's got jobs and stuff like that. So that has to be more enjoyable than work, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
it's obviously it is working, but you've got to have that enjoyment aspect of it to keep you wanting to do
Of course, man. I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's got their own uniqueness about them. Like for myself, I I find myself unique in my own way to other wrestlers on the scene. Like, most people focus on like the in ring ability, which is very important, absolutely
it.
important. But they put like a little bit of emphasis on their body or their gimmick. Um, I think there's more to the sport than just what you do in ring from a move perspective. For me, like I take pride on my marketing, like my online presence, my costume, um, my merch, everything. You know what I mean? It's like it's the whole package.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
it has to be. It has to be,
yeah,
right? Like
absolutely.
it's, you know what I mean? Like it's not just the in ring. It's not just like it's the way you look, the way you talk, and
Yeah,
obviously being trying to get be a baby face and have a baby face character,
yeah,
being able to get over with the fans and be big with the fans, and
absolutely.
especially like the Australian wrestling fan base are very hardcore fans. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
like who they
I
like,
agree.
they dislike who they dislike,
Yeah,
but very loyal to the product.
yeah, absolutely agree, man. It's so good.
So
I really do agree to that. Actually, a lot of the guys that are exactly what you said are hardcore. They're hardcore fans. And they will go to every promotion. Like it's absolutely crazy. Like it's something that I don't know. I will speak on my behalf anyway. That it's something that I really appreciate from I guess from my end as a
yeah.
wrestler to see the same people going to different promotions, paying for a ticket, going to support wrestlers. Like it's fucking awesome. You know.
Yeah, man.
Uh,
And like even then, like you see, um, like there's a heap of like Australian wrestlers that
yeah.
this country has such huge followings. Like I've
Yeah.
seen at shows where people are like literally chanting their names, and it
Yeah.
is like deafening around me. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that's the thing. Like internationally, but like how Australian wrestlers now are starting to get more picked up and more seen all around from all the different promotions
Yeah.
is because the talent is so good here. And also the fans have also really sort of got behind and really driven a lot of them as well, I believe.
Yeah. Well, man, there's a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of underrated guys in our scene, especially in Sydney. Um, everybody works for different promotions. Some people work for the same promotions, but there are a lot of underrated guys in the scene. So, you know, it just takes that one spark to get seen, pretty much. Um, but again, like I was mentioning before, everyone's got their own uniqueness about themselves. So it comes down to how you market yourself. I know, like again, I try pushing myself online. That's my online presence. You've got me my physical appearance when I go, like with my body. I try my best to, look the part. Not right now during lockdown. I've put on so much weight. I've lost my
haven't we all, man? Like, I used to be gymming like 5 times a week, dude. My wife said to me the other day, she's like, "You think you should go for a run?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't feel. I'm not going to do it. Nah, I don't feel like it." She's like, "You fat fuck," and I'm like,
"That's so
all
good.
All right, let's go, let's go."
Man, it is. It's actually so hard. Like, I went from training 4 to 6 days a week. I work at a gym, so it's it's not that easy. But 4 to 6 days of training, that went down to 0. I've probably gone for a run 3 or 4 times in the last 3 to 4 weeks. And as of today, I just started eating my meal plans again. So I just started meal prepping again, just getting back onto the bandwagon because it's so easy to fall off the bandwagon and start eating shit. That's what I've been eating.
Wait till your kids get older, bro. I've got like my kids are like 5, 3, and 3 months. Like as soon as like they get old enough, then you got like those good snacks around the house, bro.
Oh no,
bro. I ask Nathan, bro. He'll tell you, man. Once you get those snacks around the house, man, it's hard not to fucking jump on them, man. But look, man, it is getting. Oh, exactly, man. I think the next time we do this, like the three of us, we'll do an episode with Vinny, with the bad guy. But guys, it is getting to that time of the show. It is time for 60 seconds with Piers. How this is going to go down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to fire a bunch of questions at DjaySonic, and he's got 60 seconds to answer the motherfuckers. So we're going to get this thing started off right now. Before we get into it, are you ready, Mr.
I am.
Are you ready?
Can I ask you a question?
No.
Damn it, there I go.
All right, give me the go. You ready? Let me know when you're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
If you could wrestle, if you couldn't wrestle, what other career would you do?
Music.
If you could only eat one type of meal a week, what would you choose between Indian or Thai?
Thai.
Would you rather fight 2 horse-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized horses?
100 duck-sized horses.
Oh, Aussie rules or NFL?
Aussie rules.
All right. Which Chris is hotter, Hemsworth, Evans, or Pratt?
What was the first one?
Evans, Hemsworth, or Pratt?
Hemsworth.
There you go. What song can you sing in the can sing at karaoke without looking at the words?
Shit.
Great song. What sport did you play as a kid?
No sport.
What TV series can you watch over and over?
Glee.
In 5 minutes, you're being shipped to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you, excluding humans?
Phone and phone charger.
Time, and that is 60 seconds with Piers, and that is a very, very practical answer. I had Lucille Ball on, and she said her Twitch, and her Twitch, not her Twitch. I don't know, one of those handheld games. I don't know the name of it. Switch. Know. She said she'd have a Switch and the Switch charger, and I was like, there you go.
Or something? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But Corn Dog said the same thing when I had him on the next day. So, like, I was just like, man, you guys are all practical thinkers here. But DJ, why don't you take this opportunity to tell everybody where they can find you on social media, where they can buy some of the amazing DjaySonic merch?
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram, especially my website. My website has all my details. It's DjaySonic.com. It's got all my merchandise, which is linked to Pro Wrestling Tees, or you can buy them at shows. So if you search at DjaySonic, which is DjaySonic for Instagram, and I think it's DjaySonic off, as in official, on Twitter.
There you go, guys. And also make sure you check out all of our shows exclusively. Get an exclusive first look on every show that we have. Our 4 core shows, I should say. Not every show we have. Our 4 core shows, which is Shooting the Shit Uncensored, Killing the Business with the former ECW original, the Kingpin Angel Medina, Get Funked with Kwee Alan Funk, former WCW and TNA star, and Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. Check those 4 shows out exclusively on the Realm Network. You get an exclusive first look on those guys. Huge shout out to our sponsors, the Wrestling Universe, that one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling merchandise needs. Guys, hit them up. They got you covered. Guys, also check out sleeves.com. Use promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount. And while you're at it, go to healthvape.com and check out all their amazing healthy vaping products. Use promo code MWAPOD and also get a 10% discount on checkout. But DJ, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been an absolute blast, and we definitely have to get the bad guy into this next one, dude.
Would love it, man. It'd be awesome to do this once again. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you. Peace.
Okay. See you guys.